public-private partnership, recognizing the endorsement that the council has provided at the last council meeting to see if there can be a way that the city can work more collaboratively with the Zoological Society to see that we can offer, again, a better experience for those who attend and visit our farmlands. Laura Arriaga, the interim director, as well as talk about the veterinary position.
Thank you.
And my name is Laura Arriaga. I am the interim zoo director. My office is located at 500 South Greenlawn Avenue. And I am looking for a vote in favor of the salary increase for the staff veterinarian. In my 18 years of employment at the zoo, we have seen 6 veterinarians come and go. We're looking to hire our 7th, and we believe that the low salary is the main issue. It was also noted in our 2009 accreditation inspection that the veterinarian salary was low, and that will be an issue as we look toward accreditation in 2014. Again, to echo Mr. Neal's words, we need to retain this key position for the long term and remain competitive and attract experienced candidates. Thank you for your consideration.
Yes, Councilman Davis. Okay, you have a question? On the petition?
Yes.
Okay, which one?
Whichever one it would be. Could you talk about the marketing of this position? Since we are really on a time frame, given the fact that we have accreditation issues coming up next year, and what is the plan to, if this is passed tonight, what is the plan to move forward in getting a veterinarian in as soon as possible at the highest quality level that you're talking about, given the fact that we've had this challenge in the past?
Typically, when we advertise these positions, we advertise through ACA and also the AAZV, which is the American Association of Zoo Veterinarians. So I will post the position on those 2 websites.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
And I think before you go back to see, I think the other part of the question was the time frame from the point that the position would be advertised to the point that hopefully we would have selected a new person in this position.
As soon as it's approved, I will work with Jan Hall and get the ball rolling right away.
Please.
Mr. Neal?
I mean, I agree with Ms. Arriaga. We certainly want to fill the position as quickly as possible. I think practically speaking, including advertising, probably in a 2 to 4 week period to do the advertising, receive resumes, we need to work through those as quickly as possible. And just like the candidate, looking to work collaboratively with the city administration as well as with the Zoological Society participating in that process.
Thank you so much. Are there any other questions that council members may have of petitioners? Seeing, I will now move to the public hearing portion. Is there anyone present wishing to speak in support of Substitute Bill 25-13? Anyone wishing to speak in support? We do ask if you come to the podium. State your name and address, please.
I'm Patricia Fenters. I'm the office manager at Hawaii Zoo. 308 Walnut Street, Osceola is my address. I've been at the zoo for almost 24 years. I have the next vet will be the 7th one that I have seen. After thinking about it, the first 5 years we did not have a vet. It was contracted out. So we're looking at 19 years and I'm going on 7 vets. The salary has been the main reason why a lot of them go. They come, get their experience, and then they go off to other zoos and make more money. So they're getting the experience before they move on. I would like to see this pass. Hopefully we can retain these people here, or our next vet, so that basically they'll stay. So I hope it passes.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else wishing to speak in support of Substitute Bill 25-13?
Thank you very much. Trevor Gasper, office is at 4100 Edison Wings Parkway, Mishawaka, Indiana. I currently serve as the Vice President of the Potawatomi Zoological Society. It's in that capacity that I address you today. We are in support of this amended bill, we being the society. One of the things I've noted in my 3 years on the zoo board, when you talk about the salaries that we offer for professional positions such as a veterinarian, which requires extensive experience and education, oftentimes that comes with loans, is that you're almost met with laughter when you discuss what that salary is. And I think that this increase is important to attract talent and to retain that talent in this area. The retention is the key to position at the city. And I thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in support? Seeing no one, will now go to those who may be present who wish to speak in opposition. Again, I see no one. The public hearing portion is now closed. Council members, what is your pleasure?
Bill, I have a comment.
Now start from Councilman Fuller, Councilman Davis.
I'm in full support of this bill. I would hope, I don't know if it's possible later on or some way, that the next vet could sign some kind of contract, at least a 2 or 3 year minimum contract, because you brought up 2 issues that I've heard tonight. One, I've heard salary, and we can compete in that area. But as soon as somebody says 83,000, okay, we got somebody else offers 88, then they're gone. And we run it through the 8th and the 9th and the 10th. And so I'm hoping that as the administration does their hiring practices and everything else, that there could be some strong consideration of some type of contract that's put in place. You all know what you're looking for, it was a 3-year deal, a 5-year deal, or some kind of legal language that y'all, the attorneys and everybody else been talking about. So that's my hope, because then that covers everything in one shot, the salary and the retention, which gives the zoo some stability. So hopefully you all, I'm sure, are discussing that, and if not, please discuss it. And so that's my sense of that.
Thank you. Are there any other comments from council members?
No, I support what Councilman Davis just put out there. I think that would be very helpful to retaining the council they're looking for. So.
Thank you. Now entertain a motion regarding substitute bill 25-13.
Make a motion to send bill 25, substitute bill 2513 to the full council with favorable recommendation.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the motion, may I hear your vote?
Aye.
Those opposed, the motion carries. Substitute bill 25-13 will be sent to the full council with a favorable recommendation. I will now entertain a motion advisory on the figure of the whole.
So moved.
Report back to the full council.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the motion, may I hear your vote?
Aye.
Those opposed, the motion carries.
Just pause and action for a few seconds, so Councilman Scott can
Real quick.
Can you build it from over there?
Good, sure.
Okay, we good. All right, thank you. I understand. Full council is now back in the sessions. Mr. Gordy, could you read bill number 2113?
Third reading on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending the zoning ordinance for approximately 85 acres located at the southeast corner of Sample Street and Prairie Avenue, Councilmanic District 6 in the City of South Bend, Indiana.
What's the committee's pleasure? Council?
Motion for that.
Motion passed. Mr. Gordy. You need a second?
Second.
Second. Okay. Mr. Gordy now.
All those in favor, you vote aye.
Mr. Scott,
Aye.
Mr. Henry Davis,
Aye.
Mrs. Shea,
Aye.
Dr. Varner,
Aye.
Councilmember White,
Aye.
Mr. Furlick,
Aye.
Vice President Davis.
Aye.
We have 7 ayes.
Thank you, sir. Would you read bill 2713?
Third reading on a bill to vacate the following property. The alley to be vacated is the first east-west alley south of Don Moyer Avenue from the west lot line of Lot 4, Forest Hill Addition, and east lot line of said Lot 4 for a distance of 40 feet and a width of 16 feet.
Move for passage of bill 27-13.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Gordy.
Mr. Henry Davis,
Aye.
Mrs. Shea?
Aye.
Dr. Varner?
Aye.
Councilmember White?
Aye.
Mr. Furlick?
Aye.
Mr. Scott?
Aye.
And Vice President Davis.
Aye.
7 ayes.
Thank you. Can you read bill number 18, amended version 1813? That's third amendment.
Third reading on a bill of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending Chapter 6 of the South Bend Municipal Code by the inclusion of the new Section 6-6.6, 6-6.7, and 6-6.8, addressing soils and water table review required as a part of the permit process.
You made a motion to amend, as it was in committee of the whole.
So moved.
Second.
And Mr. Woody, please take roll.
Move for the passage
No,
of.
you need a voice vote on that.
Please vote for it. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Is carried. Now,
Move for the passage of 1813.
As amended.
As amended.
Second.
Mr. Woody.
Mrs. Shea?
Aye.
Dr. Varner?
Aye.
Councilmember White?
Aye.
Mr. Furlick?
Aye.
Mr. Scott?
Aye.
Mr. Henry Davis?
Aye.
And Vice President Oliver Davis.
Aye.
7 ayes.
Thank you. Mr. Woody, now can you read bill number 2913?
Yes. Third reading on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending Chapter 19, Article 61, Section 19-61A of the South Bend Municipal Code as to limited sale of alcoholic beverages in public parks.
This is the passage of bill 29-13.
Second.
Mr. Woody?
Dr. Varner?
Aye.
Let's see, Councilmember White?
Aye.
Mr. Furlick?
Aye.
Mr. Scott?
Aye.
Mr. Henry Davis?
Aye.
Mrs. Shea?
Aye.
And Vice President Oliver Davis?
Aye.
7 ayes.
Thank you. Now can you read bill number 2313?
Third reading on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, appropriating the total sum of $34,250 within the city general fund, number 101, for a new employee position and for professional association dues.
A motion to amend, as it was in committee of the whole.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? It's carried. Now, Mr. Woody.
Motion to pass as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Now, Mr. Woody.
Councilmember White?
Aye.
Mr. Furlick?
Aye.
Mr. Scott?
Aye.
Mr. Henry Davis?
Nay.
Mrs. Shea?
Aye.
Dr. Varner?
Aye.
Vice President Davis?
Aye.
The vote is 6 to 1.
Thank you. Now can you read bill 2413?
Third reading on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending the maximum salary and wages of certain non-bargaining employees of the City of South Bend, Indiana for calendar year 2013.
Motion to amend, as it was in committee of the whole.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. It is carried.
Motion to pass as amended.
Second.
So we
So
got,
moved.
okay? All in favor, say.
No.
Okay, now we got three done.
Councilmember White?
Give it, baby.
Aye.
Mr. Furley?
Aye.
Mr. Scott?
Aye.
Mr. Henry Davis?
Nay.
Mrs. Shea?
Aye.
Dr. Varner?
Aye.
Vice President Davis?
Aye.
Passes by a vote of 6 to 1.
And one more. Bill 2513.
Third reading on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending the maximum salary and wages of certain non-bargaining employees of the City of South Bend, Indiana for calendar year 2013.
Motion to amend, as it was in committee of the whole.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Same sign. It is carried.
Motion to pass as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Now, Mr. Ward.
Mr. Furley?
Aye.
Mr. Scott?
Aye.
Mr. Henry Davis.
Aye.
Mrs. Shea.
Aye.
Dr. Varner.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
Vice President Davis.
Aye.
The vote is 7-0.
Now we move into our resolution.
Resolution 1340.
Before you read resolution 1340, Chairwoman White, could you please? You can get
I'll
seated.
stay. Mr. Carter, will you please read resolution 13-40, please?
A resolution of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, recommending the establishment of a 5-year action plan for the revitalization and preservation of the historic city cemetery.
Is there a committee?
Yes. The Community Relations Committee met this afternoon, and we bring Bill 1340 to the full council with a favorable report.
At this time, the other petitioner, will you please give us a summary of resolution -13?
Thank you. Name is Oliver Davis, live at 1801 Nash Street, South Bend, Indiana, 46613, and proudly stand before you as a part of a lot of concerned citizens who are encouraging us as a council to really take a high priority with the South Bend City Cemetery located at 214 Elm Street. Just a couple of the resolutions, which I will not read in its entirety because it's several pages, but a couple of the key points that I'd like to share. Just whereas the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana acknowledges that the South Bend founders Alec Capilla and Lake Taylor donated the land which became South Bend's oldest cemetery, located just west of downtown on LaPorte Avenue along the north and its main entrance of Elm Street, which is today located just outside the northwest of the West Washington National Register District. And whereas the Common Council notes that the first recorded burial was Peter Roof, a Revolutionary War veteran in 1831, followed by burials of prominent African-American families such as the Bryants and the Powells, with the cemetery being notable for never being segregated. And whereas the city cemetery has grown to be the home of approximately 14,800 final resting places on its 21.36 acres, with the historical and ornate entry gates being erected in 1899. And whereas William G. George, South Bend's first mayor, James and Mary McKinley, the paternal grandparents of President McKinley, who both died of thyroid fever on their 43rd wedding anniversary on August 20, 1847. John Onton, the first soldier from St. Joe County to be killed in the Civil War in 1861. Norman Eddy, who was a U.S. congressman and served as a colonel in the Union Army during the Civil War, who died in 1872. South Bend police officer Lewis Keller, who was killed in 1898 during a robbery of a store on Washington Street. Congressional Medal of Honor recipient Private Enoch R. Lease, who served in the U.S. Army and Company G, 1st U.S. Cavalry, who died in 1917. South Bend police officer Howard Wagner, who was killed at the age of 29 by John Diligent's gang during the robbery of downtown Mercer Lake in 1934, and Scott Colfax, who served as Speaker of the House of Representatives from 1863 to 1869, and served as the 17th Vice President of the United States from 1869 to 1873 under President Ulysses S. Grant, are just some of the thousands of individuals buried in this historic city cemetery, along with the many infants who died from teething, consumption, whooping cough, scarlet fever, and measles. So as we see, we have a historical cemetery here that is shared. At this time, we have a part of our presentation. We'd like to have Eric go ahead and share from the Parks Department. You can share your name and just a few comments regarding our South Bend Cemetery.
Do I need a microphone or is
I think that may be turned on.
You might have.
mic check?
If it's not turned on, mine, you on? Yes.
Yeah, hi.
Clerk Forty, there's some information for the council.
Alicia Pizzle with the Historic Preservation Commission of South Bend and St. Joseph County, and I
125 South Lafayette across the street from County City. And thank you, council, for allowing me some time to give history of the cemetery and to catch up to speed with the volunteer hours that we've put in the last few years. So, as Oliver said, this is South Bend's oldest municipal cemetery, city cemetery. It's a 21-acre designed landscape founded in 1832. This one has been city-owned from the beginning. This view at Elm Street is just after construction of the gate in 1899. Prior to the iron fence in 1910, you'll notice the wood pickets. Brick pavers have yet to be installed as of this snapshot. City Cemetery was founded on land donated by South Bend's founders, Alexis Willard and Lathrop Taylor, shown here in an 1866 bird's eye view. In this 1890 bird's eye view, a visit to City Cemetery provides an enlightening glimpse into the history of South Bend. Studebakers, Bertzels, and many others rest under markers thought equal in size to their contribution to the community. Smaller markers bearing foreign names, carved in their native German and Polish, trace the important immigrant populations that helped build South Bend. City Cemetery is the burial spot of important South Bend residents, including Pharaoh and Rebecca Powell, along with many descendants of the William Bryant family. Vice President Skylar Colfax, town founder Lathrop Taylor, William G. George, the first mayor of South Bend, President McKinley's grandparents, and families such as the Studebakers, and veterans from all major conflicts. As Oliver said, City Cemetery was never segregated, as was common practice throughout the 19th and 20th centuries, not only for race, but for religious practices and cause of death, including suicides. Alexis Fuller's Kankakee Mill Race of 1835 is a notable resource of the cemetery. Although the mill race is now filled, this bridge stands as the only reminder in the city of this failed venture, the only visible reminder. Southwest side of the bridge are veterans' graves. This 182-year-old cemetery has seen better days. In addition to aging stones, falling tree limbs that may wipe out an entire row of stones, and Godzilla the giant groundhog which burrows underneath the stones and compromises the soil integrity. A most concerning issue right now is vandalism. Through increased security and public education, we have been working to get it under control, but there's much more to do before the stones are no longer threatened by human disregard. My hand model, Steve Nemeth. Through a partnership with Parks Department, Historic Preservation Commission, Engineering, Notre Dame, and an army of volunteers, we have been digitizing the records of both city and Bowman cemeteries, the two cemeteries that are owned by South Bend. So far to date, 20,000 of these index cards have been scanned. The data from the 20,000 cards has been typed into two very large spreadsheets, one for Bowman, one for city. This is an example of one of many pages. Is that not normal?
No, that's not normal. As a matter of fact,
This building isn't old enough for me to feel comfortable.
It sounds like it's yeah, it's the wind outside. Okay.
Notre Dame Conservation Lab removed active mold from 4 100-year-old ledger books. And Notre Dame Architecture Library has digitized each page in each book. Notre Dame Architecture Library has also digitized the 5 oversized 100-year-old maps that used to hang on the walls at the Sexton Cottage at City Cemetery.
Oh yeah. Sounds serious, huh?
I'm not nervous before all of you, I'm nervous. But City Engineering is building interactive maps for city and Bowman cemeteries, in which they will merge all of the digitized recorded data. Anyone with internet will have access to the records and will be able to search them by name, date of death, or service affiliation. Volunteers, including student interns, have also developed maps for the 2 veteran sections, never before documented as such. We have clocked over 1,300 volunteer hours so far and intend to shift the role of our volunteer army from paperwork preservation to making physical improvements with the help of the Common Council. Please know that we have received support and encouragement from both the Park Board and Park Foundation. And thank you, council members, for considering the establishment of a 5-year action plan for the revitalization and preservation of South Bend City Cemetery. And for the next few minutes, please welcome Jonathan Giels, who will be revealing a vision for what City Cemetery can become for South Bend. Thank you. Thank you.
My name is Jonathan Giels, residence 1862 North Adams Street here in South Bend. Alicia, the Historic Preservation, as well as the Parks Department, contacted me to help provide a vision, a conceptual vision for the city cemetery, a plan that is very near and dear to me. I think it's worth noting that the city cemetery was established 33 years before the city became a city in 1865, and I consider it to be South Bend's first park, 80 years before the development of our Parks and Boulevard plan. With that in mind, the vision that we had sought to establish was one that would increase safety, improve visibility, develop a more pedestrian-friendly environment, make contextual connections. Again, we talked about connecting to the adjacent Washington historic corridors, highlight the history of the cemetery. Indeed, it is South Bend's history, not just a cemetery, and utilize established historic lexicon. In other words, taking advantage of the character that's there. And in short, what we'd like to do is have a design that should have always been there to celebrate the city cemetery and that looks like it always has been.
Thank you. As you can see, that was the handout that was given to us. I'll close this part of it by again reiterating that we have looking at a 5-year plan where we can come back and wanted to say on our website, and this is free, this is being part of the information, the preservation assessment of the city cemetery, South Bend, Indiana. This was done several years ago in 2009. And so it also goes along with some of the materials that we're looking at to upgrade and to keep respect for our city cemetery. I really believe that when we have tours of the city, as it was suggested earlier, when whether our elementary schools, high schools, colleges, our Chamber of Commerce, when people come to visit our universities, Indiana University, Notre Dame, and all the other universities, that are part of those tours would include our city cemetery. And we need to make sure that the housing and all the land around that reflects something that we are proud of. Our city attorney, along with Councilman Fred Furlick and Councilwoman Karen White, and I were at the city cemetery on Vice President Skylar Koufax's birthday back in March the 23rd of this year. And so we really took a first-hand look at that. I was out there again today, so I saw the work of the groundhog that you talked about. Oh yeah. Yes, and Godzilla the groundhog and what he has done. And so we need to make sure that those kind of things are working. So we are good, and thank you for this time.
Thank you as well. Councilman, do you have any questions of the petition? I'm going to start with Councilman Scott. Any questions? Okay, Councilman Davis.
I have a comment as well, so I can wait.
Okay, Councilmember Shay, any questions?
Yes, I do. In regards to the adoption of this resolution, I just want to be very clear. The plan that Jonathan prepared for us has an anticipated budget of $902,000. $900,000. And yeah, $900,000. The adoption of this resolution does not. How would that funding? Is this through the general fund?
What we have, and I'm glad you raised that question, because we're not brief talking today. I think when you look at a 5-year plan, first of all, the 5-year plan is the major issue that we're looking at tonight. Over those 5 years, we're going to be looking at all different types of plans in terms of people from the Daughters of Revolution, coming up with the different suggestions that they have shared with us. There are different groups in town. There are Masonic groups that have talked to us and sent different letters because of the role of people there. As we saw today, we have people who have heard today another man's taking care of one of the areas, okay, because of their background with the military. So you're finding different people who are attached to different parts and different aspects who will be bringing us plans. So I believe that that would be something that they would consider. I can almost guarantee you that, I mean, all of that kind of money you're talking about there would have a whole nother long discussion. But tonight, our big goal is the 5-year plan, so we can put into place the highlight of everything of it. So the presentation of something that he's looked at is something that shows us the vision of where we can go.
So for the record, though, if the council adopts this resolution,
It does not
it's
affect
an
it.
entirely separate area from
That is
the
correct.
funding. Okay. Councilmember Small,
Thank you for noting that.
No, ma'am, I think that this has been discussed in the background. Something needs to be done at the cemeteries for years. It wasn't in other parts of the department. So I think whoever got the ball rolling, however it got started, is a good thing. I think we found a way to
Thank you so much, and we'll now move to the public portion. Anyone present wishing to speak in support of resolution 13-40, we do ask you to come before the podium, state your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Alma Powell, and I'm presently serving as interim director of the Indiana University South Bend Civil Rights Heritage Center. And so pleased to be here and speak with the council about this very important project and tell you a little bit about a project that Indiana University South Bend is taking on that involves the city cemetery. We have an African American landmark tour that will go through 17 sites in the city of South Bend. And we are just elated at the fact or the potential that the city cemetery will be a very attractive site. The reason we are embarking on the landmark tour is because we're proud of South Bend and its history of civil rights. As you look at activities and things going on in the city of South Bend, and you look at the nation in terms of civil rights history, you compare us with what went on in the 60s and the 70s in the nation, but think about South Bend. And again, as Councilman Davis has alluded to, the fact that our cemetery, the city cemetery, never opened up as a segregated facility. So that's where you have a Pharaoh Powell, who was the first African American resident in South Bend, buried right along beside Schuyler Colfax, who many of you have seen the recent movie, but certainly a very integral piece in the 13th passing of the 13th Amendment. So the city cemetery, along with the England Natatorium, that was desegregated in 1932, along with Central High School, Robertson's Department Store, which was the first store in this area that allowed African Americans to try on clothing or to even work in that facility. So again, we're just real happy with the potential and the support of the resolution to have the city cemetery, along with the other outstanding places in our community, be a place of pride when people come in town to take our tour as well as other tours that are going on in the city. So I just wanted that opportunity to say thank you for that, for the passing of the resolution.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else present wishing to speak in support of resolution -1314? We ask that you come to the podium at this time. State your name and address, please.
Good evening. My name is Carol Nichols, 30164, County Road 22, Elkhart, Indiana, 46917. I represent the Schuyler Colfax chapter, Daughters of the American Revolution. First of all, I want to thank the council for enacting the Schuyler Colfax Day, March 23rd this year. We were in attendance, several members, and because of that, I was able to get in contact with Oliver Davis, and I rediscovered and revised a resolution I wrote back in 2009. When I discovered a newspaper clipping dated October 28, 1941, for the care of the certain lots of City Cemetery of South Bend. And back then, they set aside X amount of dollars, I'm not quite sure how much, for the care of these cemetery sites of Skylar Colfax, John Otten, Lathrop Taylor, James and Mary McKinley, John Otten, and 3 other veterans from the Civil War. Now, back then, I don't know what happened to the money. I don't even know if it's still in an account. I don't know. But I'd like to see somebody find out where it's at. I understand from Mr. Davis that he said there's $40,000 earmarked for a city cemetery? No?
There's $25,000 right now in the city cemetery trust. It's been sitting there for as long as I can remember. And it's never changed.
Oh, okay. So they must have spent whatever money they had back in 1841? We don't know. Okay. Okay, I met with council member Oliver Davis a few weeks ago, and he asked me about what I expected from the city cemetery, from the common council. And of course, I mentioned this afternoon that toppled stones would be righted and fixed, broken headstones cemented back together, braced, bushes, shrubs, whatever, and trees and dead limbs. Now, back in, I think it was 2009, I worked with Dugan Center for volunteers to help clean up the cemetery. And we did it for 2 summers, every weekend, from May to November. And we did quite a bit of work. And then things happened, illnesses and stuff, and so I couldn't do it anymore. And then, of course, the heat drove me away. But I would like to see signs posted at the gate and at the walk-in where there is absolutely not allowed skateboards or rollerblades, motorcycles, bicycles, pets, loitering, littering, smoking, and alcohol and vandalism. And I'd like to see these violators be prosecuted. Now, I don't know what's on the books for cemeteries, but this cemetery is very historic, and we have to preserve it. And I really, really do appreciate all you've done. And he sent me this copy of Bill number 1340, and it outlines everything that needs to be done in the city cemetery. And I personally hope that these recommendations are approved, and I wish to thank the common council for all your efforts to improve the city. And also I want to thank Steve Neiman and Alicia for all their help. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyone else present wish to speak in support? We do ask that everyone that would like to speak in support, you come to the podium now.
Steve Nemeth, 5214 Park South, Park South. I'm supervisor of the maintenance department at South Parks, in charge of the cemeteries. And we, with very limited funds, have been trying to keep that place going. Grounds look great, but we had a lot of clay stones, we had a lot of vandalism last year. So when Oliver came out and some of the other council members came out before they started Colfax Day and kind of got a look at it, and we all got to talking, and this is the result of it, and I'm very excited about this, to get the council's support, to get the ball rolling on getting the really heavy lifting done.
Thank you, Joe. Is there anyone present wishing to speak again in favor? I do ask you to come to the podium.
Elisha Fiesel, 125 South Lafayette. And I just wanted to address Valerie Shea earlier with the budget, the number that we gave. Maybe that wasn't such a good idea because we had a long discussion with the Parks Department, and the additions added up to that number of $900,000. But
It's a good idea to always tell us up front, so don't feel bad.
I think
for telling us
so,
up front
yeah.
How much it's gonna cost.
Right, and actually, then I guess I'll let you know this, that doesn't include stone repair. And that doesn't include stone repair for a reason. I really think that that cemetery needs to have some positive traffic through it before anything can be done about the stones. For the simple reason, anything you put up will come back down. It's like a domino effect out there. These people who are knocking them down can't just walk up and knock the stone down. They have to go stone to stone to stone before they jump out the fence at the other side. And so I wanted to speak to that point. And the Park Foundation is put in place to raise funds for the parks. And one of their last major projects was the conservatories and the greenhouses in Potawatomi. and we've seen what that's led to. So I'm very confident that I've got their full support behind the presentations I've given to them about City Cemetery. And I know for a fact that the Park Foundation is planning an endowment program right now for City Cemetery, and they're also planning a fundraising website where people can make donations. So in addition to any of the dollars that the city might spend on repairing its cemetery, or any of the dollars that private citizens or organizations might spend, I intend to shift this paperwork preservation that I've been doing for the last 3 years to physical labor. I mean, I'm kind of a get out there and do it type of person, but I really felt that we needed to get the records under control before we got out there and got our hands dirty. So really I've been comfortable with the kind of hibernating state of my volunteers right now, where we're just really doing paperwork, but I can promise that when there's a dollar put forward, we're probably going to match that with volunteer hours. I mean, 1,300 hours from volunteer labor for doing paperwork, and these people are beating on my door for more work. So, and I have other people on a list just waiting to get out there and do cemetery preservation. So I can assure you that any dollar spent will be well spent, and it will be matched with in-kind donations. Thank you.
Good evening. Christopher Huff, 1831 College Street, South Bend. 33 years ago, there was a lot of concern about the condition of City Cemetery, to the fact or to the extent that it was written up in the South Bend Tribune. Some of you may actually remember those efforts a long time ago. From my memory, one of the things that positive that did occur at City Cemetery was the construction or the establishment of guardrail along the south side of Port Avenue, so that the folks who drive along Port Avenue weren't throwing out control and destroying that 150-year-old iron fence. I had not been in that cemetery in years until I happened to meet Alicia about 2 weeks ago. So I decided to go out there and take a look at it. Nothing has changed. If anything, it's gotten far worse than it was 33 years ago. This is an embarrassment to my home community. I'm embarrassed for part of the amazing patrimony that this city has of its history, but not just of the city history, but of the patrimony of this nation. From whatever perspective you look at that city cemetery from, be it race, or business, or politics, that is extraordinary. I'm going to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. The 3 communities that I've worked for in the past would give their IT, figuratively, of course, to have something like that, to have that type of a resource in their community so that they can sell it. This is an embarrassment, and I'm really disappointed. But I am very much in favor of this resolution. I'm not necessarily in favor of putting together a large public funding scheme to pay for it. What I would like to see is the city explore the expansion of that cemetery all the way to the east right-of-way line of Walnut Street, to the north right-of-way line of Colfax Avenue, possibly to the north right-of-way line of what I call the LaSalle Avenue extension, and to the east, the west property line of Port Avenue on the east side. Expanding that cemetery out, for what reason? To clear what is sadly total garbage, or almost completely garbage houses in that neighborhood. 17 of which are vacant right now. 17 are vacant right now. Probably all but the 2 on the corner of Port Avenue and Walnut Street, those can be picked up and moved, transplanted into a stable neighborhood. The Habitat for Humanity houses can be picked up and moved, and perhaps those 4 along the LaSalle extension. And then expand that cemetery into those vacant areas, vacate that entire land area, and replat it for new cemetery plots. A nice possibility of income stream coming into a dedicated endowment for payment, restoration, and restructuring of that entire facility out there. So I think this is something that really needs to be looked at. I don't remember how much we paid for my father's burial plot, but it was probably at least $1,000. If you get 90 burial plots out of each of those 50 or so lots bordering this cemetery, that could be about $3.5 million. Gantry Lindy, about 1,000 houses, 1,000 days. And half of those houses are vacant already, and ready to fall apart. Let's do this strategically, and use some of our money, some of our public money to bring tear down houses, get this thing reattached to the neighborhood. So, it's a long time coming. Thank you.
Is there anyone present at this time who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing no one, the public hearing portion is now closed. I'll go down for council comments. Councilmember,
Councilmember White, just one other item. Councilmember Albert Davis and myself are also in contact with our federal elected officials, also in light of a vice president being here, to see if there's any funds that are available there.
appreciate that.
That's the key thing with the federal funds that we don't need that can go along with that. I would like to just say to the, where did he go? Oh, okay. That our parks director, Phil St. Clair, came to me this afternoon with some similar comments about widening it.
I made those comments last week.
Thank you. That's why he probably shared it with me today, because of the fact that that was a nice idea. That in our 5-year plan, let's look at those kind of concepts. That was not all here yet, but I'm encouraging those kind of thoughts because that is a great potential reuse of funds.
Councilmember Furley, any comments? Councilmember Furley?
Okay.
Councilmember Furley? Councilmember Shea? Councilmember Davis?
Yes, and thank you. I think it was an awesome presentation. I think the idea of doing some collaborative work with the city cemetery obviously is necessary due to the funds that could be available, may be available, or not be available from the city trust. What I would implore the group that has started this ball, this momentum to correct some of the issues that are out there, and also to put together this 5-year plan, is to incorporate folks that are from the neighborhood in the second district, the district that I actually represent. And there's a strong neighborhood organization that meets over there at St. Paul Methodist Church on the third Tuesday or second Tuesday of the month. And they're extremely active during the course of the year in doing things within their neighborhood, which is a part of their neighborhood. This particular cemetery has sentimental value to me because my grandmother's backyard actually was the cemetery. And during the summertime, we remember a lot of bats, coming in at night because it's like this big, huge oak tree in the back there. My grandfather actually is also buried in that particular cemetery, so I am very familiar with the cemetery and its assets and also what happens. But when we're doing planning, we all do know and have been down this course, if the community that is surrounded, that particular area is not involved, it doesn't work. You can pump out as much dollars as you want to inside that area, but those folks who are living in that area are not taking hold to the investment that's going in. It goes back to its original form, in the very near future. So, again, there is the near West Side Neighborhood Association. There's also LaSalle Park Kennedy Park Neighborhood Association as well that participates, in developing plans for those particular areas. As a councilman for the area, I will also implore you to include me in your dialogue as well, because I know those folks in that area. I'm not going to entertain the thoughts about how we can knock down more houses because the city cemetery will never pay out any taxes. It doesn't work like that. But what does happen is that if we have proper and appropriate planning with the folks who represent the area as well as live in the area, I think things can get done a lot faster, and the folks won't feel offended because we have people from the outside telling us what we need in our neighborhoods. It just works that way. I'm not saying what you're saying is bad. I think this is a great plan. I like it. But include the folks that should be included. And also a point of interest and also semantics order. This particular idea came through community relations. I don't see any reason why it should not be coupled with the park department or the parks committee, because everything we talked about had everything to do with the park committee. And I don't think that it serves a good professional courtesy or just fluid conversation when it should probably have been in a park committee conversation versus a community relation. I know there's building bridges as far as financial support and teams, but it's a park matter. And because it's a park matter, we have a budget committee that she should be in to go into another committee just doesn't play well with professional courtesy as well as team building with the council. So those are my 2 cents. You have my full support in making it happen, but I just think that including the folks that should be included at the table needs to happen in order to make sure it's foolproof.
Councilman Saab.
Thank you, Oliver, for bringing this forward and working with everybody here. I do need to concur with what Mr. Huff said. I think he hit a lot of very good points. So look forward to this. I think when the time is right, we talk about finances for this going forward. The way we treat our ancestors say a lot about how we treat our president.
At this time, I'd like to thank everyone, especially those who continuously give up their time to volunteer to really go through the work we've done so far. We've been talking about our city cemeteries for a year, and we did the tour, we were shocked. And like I say, my father's buried in the cemetery as well, so I look forward to the work that will be coming, and that we will have a city cemetery that all of us can be proud of. And not only should we be proud of, but it's historical cemetery as well. And that's something that a lot of cities cannot say that they have in their city. So I look forward to all the work that is before us. At this time, we'd like to entertain a motion regarding resolution 13-40.
Just want to make sure for the record, I would like to, as a sponsor of this, would like to share with Dr. Varner when it comes down to the finances of any of this. I don't mind working along with you, Councilman Davis, your committee, when it comes down to that as we move forward the 5-year plan of the park committee. It originated in the Community Relations Committee, which I chair, because the Skylar Colfax originated, and the Skylar Colfax whole day originated in the Community Relations Committee. Because Skylar Colfax, we were pushing that as a council, and there was no concern, no issue at that day. Dr. Fred Furlick and Councilwoman White, you were there with us. We were sitting up there at the time. All the council was invited. Everybody in the council, those of you who were there, the community was invited. It was thanks to the media and those who came. So everybody was there. Some couldn't make it, some there, but everybody was invited to participate in this whole day. I mean, email came out there and everything else. So all the committee chairs, everybody on this whole council, the mayor, everybody was invited. We went through committee after committee because we knew we had to do something in the city of South Bend as a community. That's why it's Community Relations Committee to kick it off. And so as a follow-up, like Steve Neiman said, we were sitting up there talking. I got the pictures of us. I sent some of it to all of y'all. And we said, we need to do something. So this is a follow-up to our conversation that we had there. And of course, as we move forward, there are issues that will have to be dealt with in the parks. There are issues that have to be dealt with in the finance. So I want to thank you and I appreciate that.
Thank you so much. Now entertain a motion.
Move the adoption of 1340.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Mr. Gordon?
Mr. Scott?
Aye.
Mr. Henry?
Aye.
Mrs. Shea?
Aye.
Dr. Furlick? Dr. Varner?
Aye.
Councilmember White?
Aye.
Mr. Furlick?
Aye.
And Vice President Davis?
Aye.
That would be 8 ayes. Thank you.
A motion to continue bills 1341 and 1542 until July 8th.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It is carried. Thank you. Good, Mr. Gordon, read Bill 1343.
A resolution of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, approving a 5-year interlocal agreement by and between the City of South Bend, Indiana, and the St. Joseph County, Indiana, for EMS services during calendar years 2013 through 2017. Do we have the committee report?
Yes, Public Safety Committee, on Bill 13-43, we sent this resolution to the council for the FAPE program.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Right now, we have our Chief of Fire. Would you please give us your report?
Ladies and gentlemen of the council, my name is Stephen Cox, Fire Chief, South Bend Fire Department, 1222 South Michigan Street. The resolution that's before you basically is an additional look at the contract agreement between the city and the county in regards to EMS services in unincorporated St. Joseph County. Basically, this contract was signed at the end of last year. Whereupon two things happened. Number one was we found some clerical errors that needed to be addressed in the contract. Item number two is the Penn Fire Department out in the southeast corner of the county began providing service in that township. So it was no longer necessary for us to provide that service. So basically, we went to the city legal department. Assistant City Attorney Cheryl Green assisted us in being in touch with the county commissioners in order to fix those clerical errors and clarify the boundaries for which we will be serving in the unincorporated parts of the county. Basically, I just also wanted to touch base in letting you all know that the same agreement was approved by the county council already. And also, Cheryl Green has been in contact with your attorney in order to make sure clarifications and everything in regards to this particular contract were adequate. Also, there is no change in dollar amounts or the intent of the actual agreement due to this change.
Thank you. Are there any questions for our chief? Seeing none, we will now move to the public hearing. Anyone in the public would like to speak in favor of Bill 1343? Seeing none, anyone would like to speak in opposition to Bill 1343? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. We're back in the public. In the council portion?
With the adoption of 1343. Second.
Mr. Woody?
Mr. Henry Davis.
Aye.
Mrs. Shea.
Aye.
Dr. Varner.
Aye.
Councilmember White. Dr. Furlick. Mr. Furlick. And Mr. Scott. And finally, Vice President Davis. Aye. That will be 8 ayes.
Thank you. I should have noted, and you did note that already, Clerk Woody, that Councilman Dr. Fred Furlick is here. So thank you for that he's been able to come. Before we have our unfinished business and our new business, start out as first reading. That's what we have before we have that. Go ahead. First reading.
First reading, Bill 3013. First reading on a bill to vacate the following described properties, streets and alleys in the area